Hello, IB Bio students. All right, today we are going to continue with 9.1 and we're going to look at transpiration stream, or you might recognize that as transpirational pool. So the essential understanding is the cohesive property of water and the structure of the xylem vessels allow transport under tension. So we know that the flow of water through xylem, which is the vascular tissue that transports it, it goes from the roots to the leaf against gravity, and that pull or that movement is called the transpiration stream or the transpirational pool. So we see water rising through xylem vessels because water has two key properties. One is known as cohesion and one is known as adhesion. And you've seen those properties before. So cohesion is the force of attraction between two particles of the same substance. So that just means that water is sticking to itself. Water likes water, right? Water sticks to itself. And when it does, it forms these hydrogen bonds. So these are those dashed red lines that you see. Okay? Now, this allows water to be dragged up the xylem in a continuous stream. So that means that it's not going to break apart. Now, adhesion is the attraction of two particles of different substances. So then that means that water is attracted to something else. And in this particular case, it's attracted to the xylem wall. So here we see water sticking to the xylem wall, which is all this structure here that holds the water. The xylem wall is also polar, like water, so it forms these intermolecular associations with water molecules, so that helps. Okay, so as the water is moving up the xylem via capillary action, or that attraction between the water and the tissue, and that movement up of that water, this is going to generate further tension. And this is going to generate a higher force of movement from the roots that are high pressure to the leaves, which are low pressure. All right, so we're going to spend some time today, and this is just the initial introduction, but we're going to spend some time looking at the structure of the xylem. So remember that 9.1 is all about xylem. So we are not really looking at phloem here as much. That's going to be 9.2. 9.2, we're going to dedicate a lot of time to phloem. But remember that these two tissues is what makes up these vascular bundles, okay? But we are going to concentrate on xylem today. So what is xylem? And xylem is a specialized structure that functions to facilitate the movement of water through the plant. So we know that xylem is dead cells. So they are hollow, meaning they have no cytoplasm. So all they're there for is to transport the free movement of water. So because the cells are dead, this is a passive process from areas of high concentration to low concentration, and it only occurs in one direction. And the direction is from the roots that have high pressure up to the leaves, which have low pressure. Now, if we look at the xylem, we see that the xylem is made up of, there's two types of xylem, or there's two types of structures within the xylem. The first one we call tracheids, and the second one we call vessel elements. And here we see a picture and the difference of the two. So notice that tracheids, which is found in all plants, they look smaller, as you can see. They have these tapered ends that I'm going to show you in just a moment. And then they have these pits here that allow for the transfer of water. All plants have tracheids. Now the vessel elements, notice that they are a little bit thicker, and one vessel element can be fused with another vessel element right on top of it. And that is going to allow for a much faster water transport through the vessel elements. And angiosperms have these vessel elements, and if you remember, angiosperms were the flowering plants. Okay. Now, what else do we know about these xylem structures? We know that their walls are thickened cellulose and reinforced with lignin, which is another type of strong protein structure. And this is going to allow for strength as the water is transported under tension. Because remember, the water is coming at from very high tension to low tension, or from high pressure to low pressure. So then the walls here of these vessel elements and of these tracheids have to be reinforced with this lignin. Now the lignin is arranged in different ways. There could be spiral or annular arrangement of lignin, and we'll see that in just one moment. Okay, so we see again that water is moving because of the water properties of cohesion and adhesion. We see that the xylem, which are these vessel elements, this tissue within a plant, is made up of two different types of structures, right? The tracheids and the vessel elements, reinforced by lignin. We also see that that the walls are composed of dead cells and are somewhat pitted, also for allowing greater movement of water. And we know that the water is moving in one direction only, right? From the roots up to the shoot of the plant or the stems and leaves. Okay, so let's look at some additional features of xylem here. So we said that the tracheids, these are found in all vascular plants. And what do we know about the tracheids right here? We know that they have these tapered ends. So see how the ends here become narrower and smaller? So these tapered ends don't really allow for a efficient movement of water. So then that means that these tracheids have to have these pits, and that's what's going to allow the movement of the water, right, through these pits here. Now, tracheids have a slower rate of water movement, right, because of these tapered ends. They make up for it with the pits, though. And then the vessel elements, notice how the end walls have become fused to form a continuous tube. So then that means that the vessel elements are much faster, okay? But vessel elements, again, are only found in angiosperms, while tracheids are found in all types of plants. Okay. Now, in addition, both the vessel elements and the tracheids are reinforced by the lignin that can be deposited in different ways. They could be annular lignin, and this forms a pattern of circular rings. And then we have the spiral lignin, and as you can see here, it forms a helix or a coil. Okay. So here we started, there's more, but we started looking at some properties of xylem.